morning and happy Monday. If you just saw us go live, no, you didn't. Because even us, sometimes we have tech challenges ourselves and we just have to get up and do it again. And I think that's a great way to kick off this week is if life knocks you down, you get up and do it again. Which actually this past weekend, I got to celebrate my best friend's, her son's birthday. He turned 2 years old, and we were just talking about how incredible it is the way that he learns in this like trial and error. And she was like, yeah, he's walking around, running around, but so many times he falls down. And I'm like, it's okay, because he gets back up and he's learning his boundaries and he's understanding his capabilities of what he can and can't do. And that's how we learn, even all the way up until, now as adults. Like, maybe we're not physically falling down on the ground from walking, but there are definitely times where we have our own downfalls, so to say, and it's so easy to just write it off as, well, maybe I can't do that. But it takes a really courageous soul to get up and try again and teach yourself how to learn a new skill set or how to get closer to a new goal. So I'm switching things up because we're doing motivation first. As you can tell, it is just me today. John ditched me. He ditched me, and it was really sad. But he is taking care of his health, and I'm really proud of him for that. He's been a huge inspiration to us all, actually, over the past few months. He's been on his own health journey, trying to find ways to be in his most optimal performance, which is really, really cool. And so it really aligns with our company culture, and one of our values is self-care. And so really that goes to say, if you are on a plane and the oxygen masks drop, you have to put it on yourself before you put it on somebody else, and making sure that you are feeling your best, doing your best in order to help others do their best and feel their best. And so go, John, for taking care of your health. I definitely have to do it as well. Nobody ever wants to go to the doctor, but it's something that you have to do, because if you're not your best, you don't have your career doesn't matter, your family doesn't matter, the things that you do on the weekend don't matter if you aren't in your best health. So thanks, John, for that reminder for us all. And I am going to kick things off today with Shein getting heat for their AI lookalike model. And actually, let me see if I could pull up a picture of this, because I think a lot of brands I shouldn't even say a lot of brands nowadays. I feel like every brand is using AI in some way or another, especially when it comes to content creation. And for Shein, it makes sense why they're using AI. They are a fast fashion brand. They put out products every single day, and they turn over so fast because they're looking at those trends week to week, moment to moment. But recently, they pushed out a AI model lookalike to Luigi Mangione. That was the guy who had shot the CEO of, was it Chase Bank, JP Morgan? I can't remember. But huge scandal. And I'm going to see if I can pull up a photo for everybody right now. Let's see. I'm going to cast my screen here. The issue is with this is, you can use AI to help you push out products faster. It makes sense. It takes a lot of time and money to find models, put together the shoot, go through editing. It's a lot of work. So AI makes that really easy. But you need to have somebody looking at the outputs of what AI is creating. And so I'm just going to show you very quickly. This was the image that Shein put out. It's of a model with a shirt. But as you can see, there's a lot of people saying that it looks exactly like Luigi Mangione. So, I think it looks exactly like him too. And it makes sense because what AI does is it scans the internet for different people, and then it will superimpose whatever product or whatever activity you're doing onto that person. So really, really important that you have somebody looking at the quality of your work, making sure that it's not going to ruffle feathers, and that if you are using someone who is a lookalike, that it's someone who represents your brand. Obviously, you don't want a murderer representing your brand, especially for Shein. So that was not good for them. But if you're using AI, especially now, last week, actually, our COO, Chris, he introduced, I think it's called Nano Banana or something like that. And he was creating images of like Jennifer Aniston with some products of clients that we have. And it's really, really cool that we can use AI to do that now. But again, you need to make sure that you have the right licenses, especially if you're using it for commercial purposes, and that you're choosing people that represent your brand, most importantly. All right, moving on, we're going to talk about company culture and to stop treating it like a campaign. There are so many brands who talk about wanting to have the stellar company culture, and I feel like it's something that we've really taken pride on over the past few years. We have worked with so many companies and so many leadership teams and analyzing how they build their company culture and cross-referencing it, using it as inspiration for how we build ours. And it's wild because way back when, maybe like 5 years ago, even up to maybe 10 years ago, it was really cool to have beanbag chairs in the office. And maybe you had unlimited days off, or maybe you had a free coffee machine in the, not even free coffee machine, I should say, but maybe you had your meals paid for or lunch paid for. And none of that really matters now. We worked with a company, they're called NextJump, incredible company. They had so many perks. Walking into their office in New York was like walking into a corporate Disneyland. It felt like you had workout classes, yoga classes, dance classes. There was a concierge. You could bring in your dirty laundry in the morning and get it taken care of. And on the way out, you pick up your folded clean laundry. There was so much for their team that to create kind of like that work-life balance while they were at work. They could do everything they needed to while they were at work. And they were still struggling with team members not being fully happy or wanting to look for other opportunities, because it really comes down to how your team feels the most impacted, or I should say, do they feel like they're making an impact? And you can have the coolest perks, but there was a quote that I had actually seen in an article that said, stop using perks to try to fix real issues in your company. And I think that's so profound, because so many brands will say, oh, our team needs a better work-life balance, unlimited days off. You can have unlimited days off, but if you're not encouraging your team to actually take them, then it doesn't do anything. And so there's a lot of studies that the leadership teams and the executive teams really have to embody the company culture for the rest of the team to feel like they should as well. And if there's any friction, then you're going to continue to have maybe team members that are seeking other opportunities. And so it's one thing to just have perks on your wall, but how are you actually encouraging your team to live up to the values or to use the perks that you're offering and better their lives overall? But then also, how are you challenging them to feel like they're actually making an impact in the workplace? So some food for thought this week as you're thinking about ways to build your company culture. I can't even believe I'm saying in 2026, but if you're a planner like me, I'm trying to not rush the year away entirely, because I'm not ready for this year to be done with. It's my favorite season. We're moving into fall, going into the holidays. I love it. But a lot of marketers, a lot of planners, you're already thinking about 2026, mid-2026, what's going on for the year? How do we start? What breadcrumbs do we need to start laying down now to get to our goals for the next year? And so if you're thinking about company culture in that way, think about how your leadership team is going to start embodying those values as well. All right, and last topic I have here is rebrands gone wrong. The biggest one that I have seen over the past few weeks is Cracker Barrel, which I'm going to show it here. They are getting a lot of heat for this because, of course, everyone is familiar with the original Cracker Barrel logo, and they tried simplifying it to be more modern. I feel like a lot of brands over the past few years who have tried to modernize their logo have gotten a lot of backlash for it. For Cracker Barrel, their customers are saying that the new logo makes them not feel welcome anymore. And it takes the nostalgia out of going to Cracker Barrel, which, especially right now, nostalgia is fueling a lot of content that you see on social media. It's fueling a lot of purchases. We're seeing, the 90s trends come back and early 2000s trends come back, and people are yearning nostalgia. And so for Cracker Barrel to take that away from their logo, they not only lost money because they had to redesign the logo and then swap it out on every platform known to man, but they also lost money as a brand with shares of their company. So that's not good for them. You really need to think about, is a rebrand necessary, or are we just trying to keep up with the times? And talking about values, does their new logo go hand in hand with the values and mission of the company? And then another rebrand gone wrong is the city of Austin, which is interesting, but they spent over $1 million to create a new logo for the city and roll it out. And the people of Austin are appalled, mainly because they're saying you chose to prioritize symbolism over safety, which is true. Imagine what you could do with $1 million for a city. I don't know, maybe it's not that much, but in my mind, it seems like it would be a lot, especially when you're talking about safety. Put it into, I don't know, whatever is going to make the city of Austin a bit more safe. But they spent over $1 million to rebrand, and it's such a simple, just colored A. But the people of Austin are saying that it looks a lot like the symbol that was on math books back in the day, and that it's not anything special, and it's definitely not worth $1 million. So just another example of, if you are going to rebrand, think it through. Think about the impact it's going to have on the people that have been supporting you over the past decade, 2 decades, however long you've been in business. But that is all I have for today. I am excited because I'm going to Atlanta this week. MailChimp has invited me to be on their Innovation Council, where we get together a few times a year and give feedback on products, what's going on in the market, how brands and agencies are using AI to get massive results. And I'm really excited to be around forward-thinking people for the next week. So I'll have a lot to share next week when we're back Monday at 9 a.m. I'll see you then.